For those who were flipping through the books, I chose to do the optional memorial because those two saints are in our Roman canon, and why I'm wearing red rather than green. Do not be afraid of those who could kill the body. Jesus said to his apostles, do not be afraid to acknowledge me before others. Often we are. The Father will take care of you more than many sparrows. Not one of them falls to the ground without your Father's knowledge. Saint Cosmas and Saint Damian, they were twin brothers of Arabic descent, born in the 3rd century, doctors, physicians. They accepted no payment for their services, and their charity brought many to Christ because they acknowledge Christ, Father, Son, and Spirit. They were arrested during the persecutions of Diocletian. They were tortured but suffered, not injured. Later, they were again tortured and beheaded in the year 303 in what we call modern Turkey today. Saint Cosmas and Damian believed, acknowledged, and lived the faith, not falling to the ground like a sparrow, but soaring to the heavens like an eagle. Then Jesus reminds us in Matthew 10, verse 28-33 that we heard this morning, what Saints Cosmas and Damian knew, that even all the hairs of your head are counted, that God knows us better than we could ever know ourselves. Speaking of hair, research says that the heads of blondes contain about 150,000 hairs. I Googled it just to make sure. Brunettes carry about 125,000. And redheads, about 100,000. It's hard to tell if this calculation is accurate. I just know that as I'm maturing, I'm losing hair. But it's amazing to know that God still knows how many there is up here. Not just for me, but for all of us. I was always told that when the hair changes, it turns gray, and we end up losing some. It's a sign of wisdom. But just the thought of it helps us appreciate Jesus' point in today's gospel. Jesus assures us that his Father knows the exact count of the hairs on our heads. God knows us better than we could ever know ourselves. And often we forget that. Jesus' point is that we are precious in the Father's heart. And really, that's what counts, and that's where we find our spiritual life. In God's heart. The heart of Jesus. We have a Father in heaven who loves us and values us beyond any of our wildest imagining. It just sounds too good to be true. But he loves us just the way we are. And all he's asking is to have a loving relationship, to serve him, to know him, and to care for one another as sisters and brothers in Christ. Dear brothers and sisters, I invite you who are here at Our Lady of the Gulf and those who may watch us on YouTube today, I invite you to pray and to ask yourself, to what extent do we see ourselves as loved and valuable? Sometimes we could be our harshest critic, and that could be healthy. But a healthy self-esteem goes beyond ourselves. We're called to soar to the heavens like an eagle, not to fall like a sparrow. To what extent do we act and see ourselves as being loved and valuable and needed to acknowledge Jesus in this world today, as much as Cosmas and Damian did it in their day? What gives a person's value in God's sight? Maybe it's just to walk with him, to know him, and to love him. You know, in Psalm 8, it reads, "What is man that you think of him? Mere man that you care for him." Isn't it amazing? God cares for each and every one of us. Let us always have the courage to acknowledge Jesus. We are called to be the modern saints of today. How? By being ourselves.